Every apostolic leader needs a team, a following. In fact, someone once said, if you're a leader and you don't have a following, you're not a leader. You're just taking a walk. Well, if that's true, and if it's true that we need a team around us and a following to fulfill our God-given vision, then it must also be true that we have to create buy-in. And so this is a conversation starter on creating buy-in. Now we're going to operate off this assumption that people buy into a leader before they buy into a vision. And so what kind of a leader do I have to be in order to create these access points where people can buy in and participate in this vision? First of all, it's important that we are people of character. That's the first thing. Now, there are many things we could say about character, but let me describe this one quality that I think might be the most important, is that a person of character is a person that is aligned. Their motives are the same as their actions and their words. In other words, they're not duplicitous. They're not a hypocrite. They're not someone who feels one thing and says another. They're not someone who has hidden agendas. And so being aligned means that the person we are internally and the person that we exhibit to others is the same person. They're aligned. Think about what it says about the prodigal son. He lived a horrible life until that moment of the pigsty, and Luke describes it this way. He says that he came to himself. That's interesting, isn't it? He came to himself. It's almost as if the he and the himself aligned. And when they aligned, then he was prepared to go to the Father. Then he was prepared to receive his inheritance. Then he was prepared to be received back and for the joy to be exhibited from his homecoming. And it's not until we're aligned that we're really ready to walk in the type of ministry where we fulfill the inheritance, the visions, the dreams, the promises that God has out there for us. So a person of character is one that is authentic, real, genuine. The first quality then that people are looking for to create buy-in is character. The second one is compassion. Compassion is simply having others' best interests at heart. If the vision that we have does not serve people, then they are not obligated to serve it. Compassion is the motivation that says, I am more concerned about your welfare and helping you fulfill your purpose in Christ than I am about my own comforts. This is the compassion that destroys narcissism. This is the compassion that gives leaders the kinds of qualities that other people want to buy into. Character, compassion. Number 3, competency. You can have compassion and you can be a person of character, but if you don't have competency, people won't trust you. Trust is the essential link between the leader and the people that person is leading. And trust, by its very nature, needs competency to be put in place. You know, you can have someone that loves you, that loves your children, that loves your grandchildren, but they're not competent to drive the car. And so chances are you're not going to trust them with your children, your grandchildren, or someone that you love if they're not competent to drive the car. You may have someone that has a lot of compassion, but they're not competent to do the surgery on your loved one. And so the competency, no matter how compassionate or even how much character a leader has, competency is absolutely necessary. And well, competency, that's a big subject. What can we say about that in this conversation starter? Well, I would say competency is a combination of a clear vision and a strategy to get there. I like to say that a vision without a strategy is a fantasy. A vision and a strategy to get there. This is the exhibition of the kind of competency that people are looking for. They want someone to buy into, but that person must have a vision and a strategy to get there, and that, in tandem, is what I'm calling competency. Character, compassion, competency. The final quality that creates buy-in in a leader is consistency. Consistency. The leader can be depended upon. Now, this is emotional consistency as well as physical consistency. Emotional consistency. The leader is consistent. It doesn't mean the leader doesn't sweat. It doesn't mean the leader doesn't have questions. It doesn't mean that the leader never just authentically and genuinely says, I'm trying to figure this out like the rest of us. But it means that this leader is consistently trying to figure it out. Emotional consistency and physical consistency. Just keep showing up. Just keep going. Just keep preaching. Keep dreaming. Keep going. And I think that if we bring these four qualities together and somehow we're able to exhibit them to people, that there is character, there is compassion, competency, and consistency, we will be the type of leaders that create buy-in. And if we can do that, then we can move on and have a conversation on how to create buy-in in the organization. We'll talk about that next time.